Okay, here this episode we have Pierre. Leave your comments down below. Pierre Poilievre, MP, is questioning CI, which Charity Intelligence. They have all kinds of reports done. We'll have their link down below to their site. It's an outstanding charity. Anywho, watch this.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Poilievre.
I would only point out that the two issues that you listed are not separate. The awarding of this contribution, this $500 million contribution to the We Charity was by itself suspect to begin with, but now that we learn about the strange labyrinth of We Charity organizations and the peculiar way in which money circulates between the multitude of entities, it does draw a line back to how the government chose this organization and whether or not appropriate due diligence about the recipient group, the program delivery body, was done.
Chair, point of order.
These are not separate issues.
There's a point of order on the floor, Mr. Sabera, but it isn't a point of order. But I'll allow Mr. Poilievre to finish.
Well, it is a point of order, and I'll tell you why. Because you were just telling us about the confines of our study, which this committee adopted, and I'm simply pointing out that the questioning that we're forwarding to the witnesses today, the expert witnesses, is entirely within the mandate of this study. Now, I know that Mr. Sabera is desperate to keep these questions unanswered, and I suspect he'll jump in again to try and cover up and slow the study.
Now we're straying from your point of order, Mr. Poilievre.
Just point out that all of the questions that have been asked today are within the confines of the study, as is the valuable information that Charity Intelligence is sharing. Thank you.
I allowed that round of questionings, but all I'm saying is let's not stray too far and away from the government connection to this charity. That's all I'm saying. Mr. Sabera, you had a point of order.
I'll instruct my lawyer immediately to send you a check for $5,000. If you don't want the job, I'll engage someone else.
Where founders play a role in governance but don't have fiduciary duties as a board member would normally have.
Mr. Thompson?
Possibly at a very small charitable organization. I've probably seen this once, maybe twice at a very small charitable organization, but never when a charity becomes anywhere close to the size that We Charity was.
Okay, thank you all.
5,000?
5,000.
You must want this, Johnny, pretty bad, huh?
I don't like messy accounts.
Mr. Poilievre, and then Mr. Vaughn will wrap it up. Mr. Poilievre, 5-minute round.
Thank you very much for your good work. First question is, we saw testimony regarding luxury $4,000 per night escapes for prospective and previous donors to We. Is this what percentage of charities would you say offer this kind of luxury and expensive travel to donors, as We has apparently done in revelations before this committee?
I may be confused on that, but I believe that those trips were provided by Me to We, the private business.
Interesting. And all right, that's very interesting to know. Regarding the contribution agreement, the Kielburgers claimed there was no way they could make any money. Yet the agreement specifically allows the We Charity Foundation to subcontract to a series of other organizations, including the Me to We for-profit enterprise. Do you believe that there's anything in the contribution agreement that would have prevented monies from flowing through the We Charity Foundation to a list of or other organizations that would be subcontracted and ultimately therefore benefit the Kielburgers?
Well, the agreement specifically laid out the possibility of money flowing to other WE organizations. But I mean, I want to clarify. I mean, the Kielburgers said that there was going to be no financial benefit to WE Charity, which is true. I mean, it is a charitable organization, and so there was going to be no financial. They were not going to make a profit on this because that's not part of the charitable sector. But what it would allow is for them to maintain their staff, potentially grow their staff, maintain the charity at its current levels, if not grow it. So I mean, there was certainly a social benefit to having this contract, but clearly there was there's no such thing as a financial profit for a charity.
Well, of course, and I think the word profit is being used as a red herring here. Of course, you don't have to make a profit to make money. In fact, we all know people who have businesses that don't have any profit, but they personally do well, either by subcontracting to themselves, covering their expenses, or paying themselves salary, all of which is deducted from a would-be profit. And all of that would have been allowed by this contribution agreement. So the use of the word profit is a complete red herring. It tells us nothing about the ability of the Kielburgers or their related organizations to benefit from the contribution agreement. How many staff hours would the Charity Intelligence Group have spent to produce its, let's say, it's the research it has published on WE Charity in the last year?
So can you repeat the question?
How many hours would the Charity Intelligence Group have spent on research that produced the publications you've done on WE Charity in the last year?
So just to do the update on July 6th, or whatever the date was, July 2020, it would have been about 2 days, so maybe 16 hours. But since then, and with all the media, and before then, it has been pretty much a lot.
Right.
A lot of the last week, a lot of the last month.
Sorry, to clarify, I just mean prior to, let's say prior to June of this year, what would you, how many hours would Charity Intelligence have spent researching information that you published on WE in this calendar year?
On the research report, it wouldn't be much, maybe a day or two. Greg, the big work was on the impact analyst side. How many hours do you think the analyst spent?
Yeah, I mean, probably another additional 2 days on the impact assessment. So,
and that, what was the publication date on that?
That was back in, I believe, September of 2019.
Okay.
Last question, Pierre, go ahead.
Well, it's just extraordinary that in 3 or 4 days of work, with 3 or 4 employees total, you were able to produce all of this information when the Prime Minister's own department, the Privy Council office, was not, which has literally has 1,000 employees, was not able to produce the same information in a 2-week period during which the Prime Minister himself, the head of government, had supposedly asked for due diligence and scrutiny to occur. Due diligence and scrutiny being words he used in his own testimony. Question finale. On apprend aujourd'hui.
Last question. Today we learn that we had asked for nationals' help, the National Corporation, for their help to implement the program. This shows that we was not able to do things itself. According to your research on WE's activities, have you ever seen other examples where we would have managed a program with 40,000 volunteers and grants or subsidies or salaries to thank these same volunteers. Did we ever manage a program of such a scope that was proposed here in the contribution agreement?
You know, some religions think that the egg is the symbol of the soul. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Would you like an egg?
No, thank you. I got a thing about chickens.
Okay, the big news is the documents that were requested by this committee have till Saturday to come by the Liberals. So there's going to be a bunch of documents to look over, and maybe they'll find how this all came about, and all the questions can be answered by that. Or maybe not. Maybe there'll be more. Leave your comments below. Always have a good day.